So, hi, I'm Tim Modra. We've got a property here at Petwood in the Adelaide Hills. It's 200 hectares. It's got cattle and sheep out here, and we use it to continue to grow calves and lambs each year. And we've been continually trying to improve the paddocks and the rotation each year we've had it so far. Sort of around 475 mils of annual rainfall. We're a sandy loam with rocky outcrops throughout. The creek goes onto some darker country as well, which is probably a little bit more productive. I sort of come across the term regenerative agriculture whilst sort of reading in that topic. I'd always been interested in increasing pasture production, and I'd sort of come across that from sort of intensifying the paddock sizes. And I guess that led us to start reading a bit more about Alan Savory, Joel Salatin, some of those guys that have done it previously, and sort of motivated us to read into it. I could see the logic in it and decided to instigate that on this property. The principles we've tried to instigate at the farm regarding the regenerative agricultural approach has really been dividing the paddocks up. We sort of started with 4, we've sort of got towards 20, pretty soon we should be at 25. We're also trying to make sure we've got the water points in the right places and able to get enough water to the stock, which has been a challenge in this country, but we're slowly working through it. The water points is something I think we definitely initially overlooked the importance of, and it was doing some RCS training that sort of brought that to bear, that it should have probably been a higher priority. So since then we've tried to put more emphasis on getting water to the high points and then using gravity to feed it down to other points, and that's definitely helping with our approach, but we've still got some way to go. We've chosen to instigate a method where we've got sort of areas perhaps around the 20 hectare mark that are all fenced properly and sort of soft bull stock, and then we've gone to splitting those areas up with electric fencing in between. That's a lot simpler and a lot cheaper. I find that definitely helps keep stock in the right area. Crossbred lambs continue to be the challenge, but we are finding with training we're getting better results and they're staying inside the fences more often. One of the things we've tried a bit getting into regen ag is trying to maintain the animal health, and so I've tried that with a few different loose lick options. We've had some challenges in trying to find a setup robust enough that it puts up with cattle while still being simple enough and cheap enough that if they break it, it's not the end of the world. So loose lick feed is just pretty well an open buffet that they can come up to at any point in time. We definitely see some prefer it more than others, but generally if we observe over a period of time, most of them will come through and try a bit that they're after. The rub bags here, which are filled with diatomaceous earth, we wanted to try an alternate to a chemical input, and so whereby the cattle can actually walk under this and rub along their backs, and it releases a fine amount of diatomaceous earth each time, which has been known to assist in the reduction of the lice issues that can sometimes occur. The biggest regen ag successes we've seen to date have really been about the increased soil cover. Recall when I first got here, there's areas that were quite bare. There's areas where the wind would actually blow a lot of the sheep dung into valleys and that sort of thing, just because it was spherical and it could move, and it would result in almost a black valley. We don't see those anymore. We've also found that dams don't fill up with water anywhere near like they used to, and put that down to the fact that the rain's staying up on the slopes with that increased ground cover. The native pastures, we're trying to encourage them to come back. There is a number of the wallaby grasses and that around, but they're generally in short supply. Definitely trying to increase them. We've actually put the kangaroo grass in our logo, and that's what we're sort of aspiring to see a little bit more of. We have seen it in spots on the property, but we'd like to try and encourage it to show up more. The main way we're trying to encourage the native grass is by reducing the amount of time their stock get on them and then increasing the time that they get to rest. So ideally most of the year we try and run all the cattle and sheep in one flerd, as we call it, and that gives the pastures in the other paddocks the maximum amount of time to recover and to get more growth and time to grow again. The RCS courses I've done to date have been really helpful in understanding a different art, I guess the art versus the science of regen ag. I've sort of read a lot about the science, and the art was really helpful from RCS. Knowing how to get water points sorted, understanding the principles of grazing management, monitoring grazing and doing grazing charts have all been really helpful to understand and have a method to use when we're doing the regenerative ag. The next steps that we're looking to do on the property, we've got a grant to help reduce the stock impact in the creek, so we're looking to fence that up where we can. At the same time, we're looking to get another water point sorted in order to be able to utilise the back end of the farm a little bit better by splitting that up a little bit more and trying to get a bit more pasture development out of there. We've got throughout the area, and shelter belts as well, trying to get a bit more of a mix for stock shade and also just to increase the ecological benefit. We're standing in front of the Mount Barker Creek at the moment. As it flows, we're sort of lucky enough to have approximately 1.5 kilometres of the creek flowing through the property, sort of winding its way through, surrounded by a few cliffs. It really keeps this end of the property ticking. It can be used for stock water when we need it in the summer, and it also just retains a little bit more evergreen through those summer months when a lot of the other property dries off, by reducing the stock impacts. Traditionally in summer, it's always been a place where the stock will come and hang and spend probably too much time. And so we're hoping that as we can reduce their impact and reduce how long they spend here, we'll be able to see the creek return to a bit more normal function, particularly during summer when it can get eaten out more than it should, and hopefully long term see a better mix of ecology without the stock having so much pressure. And we're also trying to continue to increase the number of trees. We're hoping to improve the ecology in the creek. The tools I've found most helpful when establishing the regen methodology have sort of come from different sources. The RCS grazing charts have been really helpful to understand how much feed we're taking from the paddock and how much we're leaving behind, and then how the pattern can work so when it's suitable to come back again. And it's definitely a work in progress. I think I've still got a lot of learning to do in that space, but it's a great start. The cattle and sheep we've got on this place, we're actually trying to market more paddock to plate. So we've got our own brand, Modra Meats, which we market them through, selling halves, quarters and eighths, and then whole lambs direct to clients in Adelaide Hills, Adelaide and the Barossa Valley. That's been a business that we've just had simmering along on the side, and I think it really works well with the regen side of things. We're trying to incorporate the two more and more as we go forward. So with the trees behind us, we've tried to utilise an Echidna Guard, which is an Australian-made product from a guy up in New South Wales. The intent's to try and make it a little bit less enjoyable to rub on. We haven't seen how this will work yet, so the intent is that cattle and sheep will both be able to graze through these trees still, but if necessary we'll hot wire it so that only sheep can, and exclude the cattle if we don't have any luck, but time will tell. The regenerative farming approach is definitely helps us to enjoy what we do out here, being able to sort of stay away from sort of chemical dependency and the fertiliser dependency, and spend more time in the ground, playing with the dirt and planting different things, encouraging complexity in the landscape, all sort of make you feel better, and it's great to be able to see the successes as each year progresses.